So I guess yours. Okay, it's on. Let me get my phone straight, and then we'll be ready to go.
How you doing there, General?
All right. Yeah. I got some. I got some. Okay. At 5:33, we'll call the meeting to order. Before we start, I would like to make the announcement and the recognition in terms of the name change for this chamber here. The name change was for Nelson M. Polite Sr., and of course, I'm his namesake. And it's certainly in his honor. He definitely deserved it. He served the city for many years on here at City Council and as president. And but he served Lancaster City his entire life, 92 years he lived, and he loved the city, loved the people, was proud of it. Went through the system here, the school system here, and we appreciate that as a family, and we try to carry his legacy forward. So, thank you. Number two, the approval of the minutes for March the 20th, 2024.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to present these minutes at the following meeting, if that would be okay, and we can review them then.
Okay, we'll table the minutes and we'll review them at that time. Number four, subdivision and land development. A, time extension to meet conditions of minor plan approval for 559 South Ann Street. So how you been doing?
Plan up on the screen, or should I just set? Okay. Thanks. Hi. Good evening. Steve Gergley with Harbor Engineering. I'm here with Christopher Peters from Murata Main Architects. And this is a time extension for a land development plan that was conditionally approved a few years ago, and it was granted at least one time extension before for South Ann concerned neighbors. And this is a demolition of a portion of a building. It's a property at 259 South Ann Street. It's bordered to the south by New Dauphin Street, and it's a 2-unit residential property facing South Ann Street, and then there's a warehouse component to the rear that's proposed to be demolished, and in its place will be constructed a community hub for South Ann concerned neighbors. It'll be like working spaces and kitchens and a gathering space for the community. So this project has been on and off for a couple of years, but the group has the traction now and the funding to proceed with the plan. So what we'd like to do is just pick it up, get everything recorded, and so that they can proceed with putting it out to bid and getting it underway. So this is just a time extension. We'd asked for a time extension until September 18th, 2024. We hope that we'll have these plans recorded much sooner than that and underway. And Douglas, there was some conversations about potentially, to your one question, about adding a third residential unit to the third floor. That may happen in the future, but that's not part of this plan. So there's no fire service line or anything like that. So I think the conditions of the previous plan approval would still be valid. And you had forwarded those conditions of approval via email, so we'll make sure that we can get those addressed.
Yeah, we did, thank you. We did review the conditions of approval. I'm happy to pull them up on the screen. I actually didn't send those to the Planning Commission, but we can certainly review them. There's, nothing of concern on the city side. They're mostly, standard conditions of approval, like establishing a financial guarantee,
right.
Probable cost. I know we have a draft opinion of probable cost already. So I can certainly pull those up if you just give me a moment. I'll grab that and we can review those. But just did also want to let the Planning Commission know that staff is supportive of the waiver this evening. And I'll take a moment here to find that.
Okay.
Any questions from the council?
Yeah, I do got a question. So I just want to make sure there's a lot of confidence in getting the plan recorded because I know there's ARPA funds associated with the project, and my only worry is the project potentially falling through or having more hurdles and those ARPA dollars disappearing, because I know that I think we have to have them all allocated by the end of this year, and then they have to be spent by 2026. So just, I would be very, very uncomfortable if there was another request for an extension past September then. But I do want to see this project happen.
Yeah, and Christopher's welcome to chime in, but it's my understanding the money's in place. They are ready to go at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, we're planning on bidding this in the next month or two, so we can get a contractor on board, so those funds can start moving and be allocated, and then, yeah, certainly be done by, I think the deadline is June 2026, like you said. Yeah, something like that, yeah.
All right, thank you.
And Mr. Desper, I'll just add that we did meet with Darlene Bird and her team yesterday, actually, and I know that they've amassed currently $880,000 in financing for this project. The goal is, I think, just over $1,075,000 for the cost of the overall project. So they are making very good progress towards that. The city will be supporting another grant application that we're optimistic about for, it's called Community Facilities through DCED. They're requesting $375,000 from them. That should bring them over the limit that they need for the building and also give them funding for the site work as well. So we're supportive of that, and we continue to work alongside South End Concerned Neighbors to see that this happens. I did pull up the conditions of approval here. I can just quickly walk through them as a refresher of where this project is. So financial guarantee does need to be established. That has not happened yet. Pertinent fees shall be submitted. It's been a while since I've actually dug into this, but I believe there maybe was an outstanding fee there that we needed to take care of.
Okay.
I can do some homework and just and look into that. Specify open graded metal steps and landing on the drawings. I don't believe we've seen that yet. Provide ENS controls to the satisfaction of the Stormwater Bureau. I think we do still need to take another look at that too to make sure that that is in conformance with the former stormwater ordinance. Clarify cleaning washed stone under the stairs, and then clarify the location of the no parking sign that's been added to the plan to ensure no parking occurs over the infiltration bed. So all fairly minor, and there was a modification for the number of required street trees.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for time extension. I'll second.
We have a motion on the floor. Whether for the question, all in favor, let it known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm here for the next one also, so I'll just stay up here. The next agenda item
Oh, okay.
is me also.
I thought you said something else. C, waiver of land development for Outer Bend United Methodist Church, 20 East Clay Street.
Yeah, so this is a request for a waiver of land development. I'm here with Steve Funk from Murata Main Architects, they're the principal architect on this project as well. Otterbein United Methodist Church, it's 20 East Clay Street. What they're proposing to do is the Lancaster County Redevelopment Authority, Housing and Redevelopment Authority, is proposing to renovate the lower level of the building to create an 80-bed shelter for, a low-barrier shelter for homeless persons. So that's what this project entails. There's some renovations inside the building. The only exterior improvements are we're adding an ADA accessible ramp to the entrance, and then also adding an elevator shaft, which is about less than 100 square feet of additional impervious surface on the south side of the building where Douglas is pointing to. So there's very little in the way of land planning here. We went through the ordinance, and this qualifies for a waiver of land development or a no-impact land development with one exception. There's very little impervious surface, no traffic impacts, et cetera. But with the beds that they're adding to the lower level, that does create the need for additional water and sewer capacity. So we've made requests to the City Sewer Bureau and Water. They'll add a fire suppression line for that portion of the building, and we're asking for additional sewer capacity. But other than that, there are really no site improvements proposed as part of this plan. So we've asked for a waiver of land development processing just to continue to move the process forward. We don't really see a lot of value in land development planning with this project since there are no traffic impacts, no stormwater impacts, et cetera. And then the water and sewer can be handled with the water and sewer authorities directly. So that's the basis of this request.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like to add some additional context. I just want to note the importance of this project in addressing the issue of lack of facilities for our houseless population in the city. That is going to become an acute problem in May and beyond, as the facility that is currently operating at the Benjamin Roberts Building will close, and there will be no low barrier shelter operating in the city. So this is, of course, a major concern for that population, for the downtown. And we're working very closely with the county to try to address that problem. So the city has provided $1 million to the County Housing and Redevelopment Authority to contribute to providing the necessary beds and services. And this is one of the projects that the city is supporting. There will be a second location, but it will likely be coming online in 2025. So this is the facility that we hope will be open by the end of the year, before the end of the year, before cold weather comes. So I just wanted to note the importance and let you know what the context is for this project, and also, of course, say that city staff is supportive for all the reasons that Mr. Gergley already laid out in terms of this not really having a lot of the land development impacts that many projects do.
Well, no, I'm just making sure. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the request for waiver of LD. I'll second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor to waive the land development. And a second. Ready for the question? All in favor, let it know by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carried.
Thanks very much.
Congratulations.
And Mr. Chairman, can we clarify who did have the motion in the second, please?
It was me and Ken.
And Ken,
Sorry.
thank you.
Just trying to.
Congratulations, thank you very much. Yes, no problem, we'll be in touch. You can, we're still on the air, so you can go ahead and talk into the mic, and just to make sure the public, virtual public can hear.
Yeah, so the sewer capacity, so they're gonna handle that through LASA, right, or the sewer authority of the city?
So, well, the city We don't have a separate
Not
sewer
last.
authority. We have
Yeah.
just the city which operates its sewer. Some other municipalities divide that responsibility to a separate financial entity. So they will, have they? Or they will, I can't recall if they have submitted one or not, but they will need to, if they haven't already, submit a sewer planning module
Okay.
because of the additional beds downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, sheer number of people.
That's what I was curious about, is if it'd still be a planning module with DEP.
It would be, yeah, and I don't think that they have submitted that. I did make their team aware that that would be a requirement.
I'm curious, and this is probably not a conversation for the planning commission, but how, because I haven't done a lot of work in the city, but we have no capacity, so how are they being granted, right?
So this is a good question and a little complicated. We have a combined system, of course. So when we have a big storm, we pour raw sewage, dilute raw sewage into the Conestoga River. If you were to not consider those extreme events, we have capacity for sewer. It's the stormwater that we don't really have the capacity for. So the way that the sewage facilities, or I forget which act it is in the state, forgive me, but the way that that's written is we're supposed to grant the sewer capacity that we have. The stormwater issue we do need to deal with through DEP, through the consent decree, and the way that we have agreed to do that with them is through green infrastructure. So by not altering our sewer system per se, but providing another means for that infiltration or separation. There's a variety of ways that we're handling that issue. So I think it really comes down to, can we deny someone sewer capacity because of a stormwater problem? And I think the answer to that has been determined to be no. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really good point. I've had that question come up a few times recently, and yeah.
I got a question though.
Sure.
And this is slowly getting more away from this subject. So, do we have a calculation or an estimate on how many gallons of water, of stormwater, need to be mitigated so that the system doesn't overflow in a heavy rain event? Or is it you get what I'm saying?
I do. I don't know that current number. I think the original green infrastructure report from 2012. What was the estimate? I'm trying to remember right now.
It's gonna change also depending on how many people are flushing their toilets at the same time.
Yeah.
Truly, I mean, it's gonna change daily, weekly.
When it rains, don't poop.
When the Clipper Magazine Stadium is having an event, there's gonna be higher sewage flows.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to throw out a number without being certain of it, but I know that we've made some progress towards that as well. And as land has developed too, we've required stormwater facilities to go in. So there's been a variety of things that have happened since then, including some even minor disconnection up at McCaskey and other places. So yeah, I can try to figure out what that new number is. What is that current goal? And it is a moving target because of the size of rainstorms and the intensity and the amount of rain we get. 2018 was an especially bad year for us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Item number 4, certification of blighted properties. A, none. 5, staff report planning commission.
Yes, that's me again, Mr. Chairman. Give me one moment here. Okay, so a couple updates I wanted to let you know about. First, we have not yet filled our senior planner position, but we're optimistic we'll be doing that soon. So hopefully we'll have news for you there soon. In terms of land development, the only new submission that we've received is 419, 429 Hillside from this is Thaddeus Stevens duplex on Hillside Ave. Standard, attached or semi-detached set of houses that they're building with their student program. So we're currently reviewing that and hope to have that to you in the coming months. did want to let you know that 232 North Prince Street, Benjamin Roberts building I mentioned, is moving forward again with their land development submission. They just got approval from the Historical Commission, and so that seems to have gained some new energy, some legs, and is moving towards the Planning Commission in the very near future. I also wanted to let you know that 213 College Ave is under construction, if you haven't seen that. Of course, that was a big project that you all heard a lot about, so just wanted to let you know that that has begun construction. Aside from, oh, yes, a couple of other land development notes. I reached out to Burger Community Rentals, who's doing the Chestnut and Queen Tower, as well as Bowery Development at Queen and Lemon. And I asked if they'd be willing to give us tours of their facilities, and they very graciously agreed. So I have a tentative date I wanted to make you aware of, and I'll send out an email with this as well. But let's see. We can combine forces if you'd like. June 5th. At 4 p.m. This would be before our Planning Commission meeting, so we'd have an hour and a half to walk through 202 North Queen. They'll be opening actually just in the weeks ahead of that, so we'll have a chance to see the building and the facility and what it's going to look like. What it does look like. So I thought that would be fun for you. This was a suggestion of actually Mr. Whalen to get on the construction site, which I wasn't able to pull off, but we will see the finished building before most people do. And then I'll have another date in September for 347 North Queen with Mr. Matt Richards. So stay tuned for that. The other update I wanted to provide you with is that we have an RFP out for the East End area plan that I mentioned. This is for the small area plan around the county prison that's currently on East King Street that will be closing in the near future. That RFP will be ending next Tuesday, and we have had a lot of engagement on PennBid with that, so we're very hopeful that we'll get a number of submissions. We'll be engaging the Planning Commission in that process, and of course the neighborhood around the current prison as well. So we're very excited for that one. Happy to answer any questions if you guys have any questions about existing projects, past projects, upcoming. Yeah.
When's LEMSA coming?
Yes, so LEMSA has a land development with us. This is the Lancaster EMS. They're looking to build a facility at 715 Fairview down near Angleside intersection. They purchased the old, I think it was an AMVETS property, and are proposing new headquarters there, as well as ambulance repair and some storage of other materials. We are in our second review for that project. I'm hopeful that would be before the Planning Commission, maybe in June. I'm not exactly sure yet. We're still working on that. We're also waiting for a land development waiver from Lancaster Township. I was told that it got recommended at the Planning Commission approval because there's like a very, very tiny little piece of that property that is in Lancaster Township, the very southern tip of the property. Any other questions?
A date for the public restroom opening?
Good question. I would have to defer to building codes on that. I know that they're waiting for a CO and that was imminent as of this morning. So should be any day now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And, that's the one that we had waived, I guess, at the last meeting.
Right.
Prince at the Prince Street parking garage.
Douglas, how are we looking for what we created with the comprehensive plan in light of zoning changes? Is that moving forward?
Yes, thank you for that. So I'm glad you mentioned this because I meant to begin socializing this too. So there are, with zoning, there's always issues that accumulate over time with different projects or developments or issues the city becomes aware of. And we have a growing list of things that I think are going to need to be addressed through a zoning amendment for a variety of reasons. We will be coming to the commission, I think, sometime this year with a set of near-term zoning amendments. We're right now grappling with how broad do we want to look at the zoning ordinance, given that, this is the first time after the comprehensive plan has been adopted that we'll be opening it. While also keeping in mind that we have not hired on our consultant yet to help us do substantial writing, because it will be a very large task to rewrite the ordinance. And we do hope to begin that process of getting an RFP out sometime later this year. So we'll likely need to make those edits prior to a full revision of that ordinance, which isn't untypical. So yes, do expect that we'll have some specific edits that we'll need to make there.
Okay. Any other business?
Mr. Chairman, I have some statement of financial interest forms I'd like to pass down, and if we could just take a moment, maybe after we conclude the meeting, to complete these, and you can hand them back to me. I'd much appreciate that. After the meeting ends, and I'll, we can get into any particulars. If you have any questions just about how to fill this out, I'll be available and can give you a hand with that. So.
Okay, thank you. Any public comment? Hearing none. We'll have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn today's meeting. And I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further question? All in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, meeting adjourned.